Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday! This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 4, episode 26, titled How I Ruined Father's Day and Didn't Show Up for the Let's Go Devils podcast last week. Just kidding. I had to cut Beer Baron off because we were late coming to the big show. But we're going to be talking about what's going on.
Those were his last
NHL.
words before the audio went silent.
Yes. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Beer Baron and Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal. Send your requests now. I'm going to send in Iron Maiden Aces High for next Thursday. Anyway.
Okay.
Streaming
All right.
live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Prime Music, I don't know what you call it, Audible, iHeart app, Spotify, and now in the Crimson Podcast Library. Gentlemen, it's been an exciting Stanley Cup playoffs. Of course, our team's not in it, but I think the Devils have a little bit of a higher draft pick from the Islanders now that they're bounced out.
Yes, Islanders were bounced. They fought hard. It was a great series once again. And I got to say, who put some money down on the Canadians at the beginning of this playoff to win the Cup was wow. Right now is when you should sell that ticket. Try and sell that ticket because Tampa Bay is a tough task. Can they do it 4 times in a row? I'm not sure, but they have shocked the world 3 times now. And if they beat Tampa Bay, wow, that would be something. Just had to say that off the bat. First off, the old Habs over there. Completely did not expect them to take Vegas down. Tampa Bay and the Islanders, though, man, what a series. Going all 7 games. The Islanders fought back after they split it. It turned into a homer series those last 3 games, which was kind of expected. I think everyone, once we got to this point, playing in Long Island was tough. Playing in Tampa is tough. So the fact that they split them again, this was the exact same pattern that the Islanders went with the Bruins and the Pens. They were down 2-1. They came back. They tied the series up. This time you could see, though, I mean, when they won, what was that, game 4? You could see Tampa was really surging, and then they came out and walloped them. What was that, like 7-0, 6-0? What was it? Or was it 8-1 or something? I don't remember what it ended up at. Yeah, well, you could see at that end of that game 4, Tampa looked angry, like they were mad they didn't have enough time to come back and win. They were swinging the momentum back in that game 4. Whereas in the previous series, when the Islanders took Boston down and when they took the Penguins down, you could see they looked a little like gassed and a little bit like, they took a really big punch and they don't know if they're going to be able to come back from it. Like Tampa just, man, they're just firing in all cylinders. Can we try and get Patrick Maroon? Because he's been to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times in a row now with the Blues and Tampa twice. So can we just try and trade for him? Because he seems to be the good luck charm out there.
Half of his team, though. That's the problem. Like, yeah, Maroon's a good piece, but I think he's just a product of good fortune.
Joking, of course. Sarcasm.
But, so going into Game 7, I watched pretty much every single game of that series, and I've watched actually a majority of the playoffs in general this year. As of last year, I didn't really watch a lot. This year, I was really into it. Watching that Habs series, there's something that we'll talk about in a little bit. But
man,
going into Game 7, the Islanders, I felt like if they could withstand the first 2 periods and just hold up, and they did. I mean, they held them to 1 goal, which is no easy task for a team Braden Point finally broke his goal streak because Game 7 was the first game that he did not score in, I think, 9 straight.
Yeah. He's like Lemieux,
gassed, man.
He's like Lemieux times 10. Right, like Claude, like all of a sudden the playoffs come and Claude Lemieux was just like, your superstar, like out of nowhere. It's like a playoff star, just like boom.
Well, I mean, like it's not just him. Like you look at that team and it's my God, it doesn't stop. I mean, and then everybody will bitch and complain about the $18 million over the salary cap and all that kind of stuff, which is true, and you can't deny that. Right there, that's it. There's those things are in place during the regular season, so you can't create these like giant super teams. But
call the
here
league.
We are in the playoffs. Yeah, exactly. You can't fault them. They're doing what they're doing. So
yeah, they're just hey, if the league's gonna let them do it, like, would you be like, sorry, Kucherov, no, Stamkos, sorry,
no,
I'm sorry,
you can't.
You gotta stay.
Can't lead the league in points.
It's against the rules. It's against the. I mean,
they're
no one's
gonna yell at us. They're gonna.
No
yell.
one's stopping us. You know what it's like. Remember the. You ever see Inglourious Bastards?
Yes, of course.
You remember at the very end when Brad Pitt they end up like shooting the one guy and Christoph Waltz is like, "You'll be shot for this," and he's like, "Nah. Chewed out. I've been chewed out before. Ain't no big deal." That's it's like the same thing right there. They're like, yeah, whatever. They don't care. We're getting big ratings, so it's cool.
People will troll us. Who cares?
But Tampa is fun. Yeah. They are fun to watch, and
they're fun to watch.
I'll ring I got AC/DC on, so I'll ring the Hell's Bells for Pickles, Blake Coleman. He is a fun guy to watch out there. Like he really is. Yeah. He's an easy guy to root for. Love old Pickles.
So watching that game, it was pretty apparent that like once you knew that the Islanders couldn't make a mistake, and they made that costly mistake on the PK. And I mean, you can't really in the the play itself, you have three guys converging on one. It was just a beautiful pass. You had Gord coming off the bench.
Oh, yeah.
And, just nobody picked him up. And it was just a perfect play. Perfect shot, too. Both goaltenders played out of their minds in that game. Out of their minds. But there's something striking about that game. Tampa Bay held the Islanders to like 2 shots in like 24 minutes at one point or something like that. It was incredible.
They shut them down. They shut them down.
The shot total was insanely low, and there's something that happened that a lot of people are not giving a lot of credit to is people like Ryan McDonough, who was blocking shots left and right. I think he was credited with 5 in that game, but he could have been credited with like 8 or 9. The shot blocking that was happening, the shooting lanes completely shut down. Tampa Bay is the perfect team. They back check perfectly. They forecheck perfectly. The entire game, anytime
they were able,
everything
because the Islanders want to keep you like pinned in. We know we used to do this. When Lou was in charge, this is how we were built. The same way. Shut them down, and take advantage of your opportunities. The Lightning were able to, crisscross on the ice on their passes because these guys are so fast. They're all open. Every single line. It's crazy, and they could do that. And they were able to spread that defense out and just boop, boop, boop. They were in the zone. And that was it.
And if it wasn't for Varlamov, it would have been a hell of a lot worse. Oh, yeah. That game could have been like that 8-0 blowout that happened. Tampa Bay is just crazy good, and the coaching of that team. Cooper does such a great job with that team. Like that entire staff, they're so well coached. Their positioning is absolutely perfect. Sam Wu with the NFC would be very, or the no fun zone, whatever the NFC that he talks about would be very Z. That's a Z.
Would be the Z. Not the National Football Conference.
Exactly. Not the National Football Conference, but. Everything from top to bottom is perfect. Now, if you look at the the upstart Cinderella Habs, there's a lot of things that people are not taking into account too with that team. First of all, their defense is big and heavy, and they will punish you for coming across the line. Shea Weber will punish you for coming across the line. So this is something that Tampa Bay hasn't. Listen, don't get me wrong. The Islanders punched Tampa Bay in the mouth and did multiple times. Matt Martin went out there, and God, that's another player I would love to have on the Devils. Matt Martin. I've always been a big fan of Matt Martin. But you see, it's one of those random players that you're like, I think he would be a great addition to this team. Not going to put in a lot of goals, but hey, he'll punch you in the mouth. But you look at at Montreal,
punch you in the face.
They have a big, heavy defense. They've got a perfect balance of youth and veterans on that team. You forget that they have Eric Stahl. You forget that there's a lot of. It's just a well-rounded team.
Suzuki, him and your boy Caulfield,
my boy, who you're like, I wouldn't take him. He's too small.
You have these like fantasy trades that we're gonna be able to like trade Nathan Bastian for Cole Caulfield somehow. That the Canadians are gonna like. Oh,
we could have done it before the playoff run. I know. Obviously. Of course, everybody has those armchair GM moments where you're like, "I'll give you a 7th rounder," and
that's how you're sweetening the deal. But a 7th
Pavel Zacha for give me Austin Matthews. That's a good straight up. Put it through the simulator. I bet you it goes through 100 times out of 100.
We're forever.
Those are the ones that
because of the Taylor Hall, Adam Larson. We're like, well, that happened, so why not this? You know, like it makes perfect sense.
It's like, hey, he went on a date with a 10 one time. Yeah, that happened. So you just get 10s all the time now.
Oh my god.
The 1-for-1.
I would love to see him and Jack. I know they'll never. You never know them. It could be a situation like my. Can you see? There he is in the lower corner. I got Sam Wu sent me the bobbleheads. I believe that is Mr. Zach Parise. Mr. Zach Parise right there. But we don't want to, hopefully we won't see that situation, where we saw Zach wanted to go play with his buddy.
Yeah. Well,
and we were out of money because we signed someone else who left in a couple years and we're still paying contract for, and then they created a whole rule against ever signing a contract like that again afterwards.
Are they still playing? There he is, Cole Caulfield, also known as Froggy. Is that?
Yeah,
my dad.
Is that the guy from Christmas Story?
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question in regards to our team. We'll get back to the Stanley Cup Finals and we'll talk about our predictions and all that kind of fun stuff. And
you know what?
We think
I haven't even looked. We should say hi to everyone on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and everything else. Give us your predictions over here for who you think is going to win. Don't tell. I know none of you had Montreal in your playoff brackets that we're doing. Nobody. I'll have to double check because I don't really know 100%, but I doubt anybody had Montreal going all the way. I know I had them getting blown out of the water in the first round, and lo and behold,
which almost happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy thing too is it's not like they went in and you remember the Kings when unfortunately the Kings beat the Devils and the Kings were an 8 seed and they were just destroying people because everybody was like, oh yeah, they're really good, but they just had like a really crummy regular season and like pieced it together towards the end. But here's an interesting fact about Montreal. They only had 4 more wins than the New Jersey Devils. Put that in your pipe and smoke on that, I suppose.
Well, I mean, they played Toronto, which we know. Come on, Toronto. Wait, even though they had like 100 points in the regular season, but then they just flop as soon as the playoffs come. Ask anybody from Toronto; they'll tell you about it. When's the last time they won the cup?
67, 1967.
Oof, that would hurt. So
imagine being a Leafs fan.
Montreal got like notorious choker number 1 right there, and then they go and they got Winnipeg in the second round. Who
upset everybody's favorite out of that division with Edmonton, because a lot of people were pegging Edmonton that we were going to come out of the Canadian division.
I had Edmonton in my bracket. I said, hey, this is the year where it finally happens for Edmonton, and they at least get. I thought they were going to the conference finals with the Avs. That's what I had. I had the Oilers and the Avs go to the conference finals. Wait.
Not so fast. Would you have any? Would you have any East? Would you have any East? Did you have Tampa Bay going?
East? I did not actually. I had Carolina pulling out the shock. That was my thing. I had Carolina finally stepping. I was just like, Tampa won last year. They'll win the first round. I'm like, and then they'll kind of like, I don't know. But they are juiced up, man. They are
so good.
Good. They are unreal. I mean, they're fun to watch. I mean, those like we were talking about before, those passes, just the way they're able to open up that defense, just, man, side to side, like it's crazy man.
Because you could get hurt by that team on so many different ways. Like back in the day, it used to be like, you got to shut down XYZ line, like you have to shut down this one line. And then if you could do that, that normally means you're going to be in a good spot. Then we'd throw like Madden Pandolfo and like, whomever out on the ice. And that was always the shutdown line. It was like, all right, we'll throw out our best, line to go up against your top line. Tampa Bay, you have to pick your poison. It's almost like the Islanders played them in the right way. The Islanders really had a good grasp of that whole series, but it was like there were that 8-0 game. They go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I felt like the Islanders had Tampa Bay right where they wanted them, but they just couldn't finish them off. I know that sounds so stupid because it's like obvious, but like if you look at that last game, imagine if the Islanders came out and they were able to put up shots, and actually like put pressure on Vasilevsky. If they could have done that, they could have easily. And like, I know a lot of people are like, "This is so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about." Like this is, yeah. Like I don't know how to explain this, but in my head, I'm watching that game and I'm just like, "Damn!" Like they got him. They got him pinned. Like they got him in a good spot. And I'm like, they just need to generate offense. But Tampa Bay is just so good. They're so good. You just shut. They're like, we don't need to score right now. Oh, we got that one. Boop. All right, cool. We'll hold you to like 10 shots for like 2.5 periods, and then you'll get 1 or 2 other shots. But don't worry, they'll be like way on the outskirts, and it won't even be a big deal. That's crazy. Or we could beat you 8-0.
But they still scored though. That's the problem. But that's the problem is they still scored, and then they weren't able to, score back.
Well, that's no. That's my point. Is like Tampa Bay is so good they could beat you in that 1-0 game where they're going to shut you down. They shut Matt Barzal down in that game 7, like completely. I don't think he had a shot in that game. Like completely shut him down. And then unfortunately, like the Islanders' problem is like if they had Anders Lee, I think it would have been a bigger difference. But they just could not find sustainable offense in that game. And it was just like Tampa Bay was like, cool, we'll beat you 8-0 or we'll beat you 1-0. Doesn't matter.
And really, I think, what you're getting at is they didn't have that killer instinct. And I felt the exact same way. Like I felt that they were, it was interesting, before, because you said about playing, like a checking line, a shutdown line. I don't like that. Like, I want to be able to throw our top line out against their top line. Like that's.
Oh yeah.
See, to me, I feel like I don't know
strength
if you
against
could win
strength.
I don't know if you could win the other way, because then your top line is not getting its top line minutes.
And that's the caveat to that, because like back in the day it worked. It clearly worked, especially for the Devils. They had the checking lines. Yeah, back in the day, you put your checking line out whenever their top line would go out. Their checking line would do enough. But also, the guys in the checking line could score, too. It wasn't like you had a bunch of like jobbers out there that were great defensively, but then could not score whatsoever. a bunch of bucket tails out there. Jobbers. Wrestling.
I thought you said something else there for a second. I was like, whoa. The audio glitched on my end.
Oh, bucket?
Yeah, what is something that rhymes with that?
Yeah, exactly. Lunch pailers, not bucket pailers. Lunch pailers.
Lunch pailers. Bunch of jobbers out there. Iron Mike Sharp is out there playing defense.
Here he comes. Put him on his back. He's out.
Yeah, right. Oh man. All right. Yeah, but it's an interesting thought, because the Islanders definitely, they play that way. And that's Barry Trotz. He plays that system. He plays it very well. I personally I'm wondering, do the Islanders now, it could be if they had Anders Lee, it could be a very different story, because he could have, provided that sort of what we're talking about, that that finish, that finishing move. Like they were just missing their finishing move. It was like you're in Mortal Kombat and you're like, how do I do the fatality?
You're mashing B and you just punch him in the face.
Yeah. It's like you got the guy just like wobbling, and then it just falls over. You're like,
I didn't do the thing where he rips out the heart. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe if they had Anders Lee, they would have, he would have provided that scoring that maybe they were missing, But for me personally, and this is just my personal opinions over here, okay? I would much prefer seeing, because I'm thinking Nico is going to be our top line center. I would much prefer see him out there, because he can do everything as well. Like I don't want to. I'd rather see him out there getting those minutes, with that line and shutting them down by dominating them, putting them in the offensive zone. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. And hey, and that's such a great point, and that also gives you good feelings about the future of this team. If Nico stays healthy, of course, and if Zacha keeps going in that trajectory that he's going on of where he picking up where he left off with this year, Jack picking up where he left off with this year, that means you have 3 solid centers. You add in a couple of good wingers. There's a lot of chatter going on that Dougie Hamilton might be going to the Devils, and I'm not saying like it's good or bad or indifferent. I'm just saying, hey, all right, you add a piece to the defensive, the defensive side of things, and hopefully bolster the defense a little bit more. I wouldn't say no to Dougie Hamilton as long as the price isn't insane.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the price isn't insane, and he realizes where we are, in our, that's a big step from Carolina, to where we are. Carolina is on the brink of being a budding franchise there. They just re-signed the boy Roddy. Was it a 3-year deal? He got something like that. He got Coach of the Year. Yeah. He won the old Jack Adams. Yep. Did Lou win the GM award? Congratulations to Lou if he won the GM award.
He did.
So
which is kind of funny because I'm looking at that.
Good for both of them.
How did he?
Yeah, what did he do this year?
There's a couple other things. There's a couple other guys that I would have given that award to, but hey, good for Lou. Future guest of the Let's Go Devils podcast, Lou Lamoriello. Probably when he's in his mid-90s.
Trotz has been there, right? When did the goalies come?
There.
When did he sign? When did he sign for Larmov?
Like 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. He did get Palmieri and Zajac. I mean,
I don't know if that's GM of the year. I don't know if that's GM of the year there. Well, either way, congrats to Lou. Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him.
So
I wonder if he's ever won that award before. He did.
I think he won with the Devils. He definitely.
I'm sure
did.
at some point.
Sam, we'll look into that while you're doing that. I'm going to say I'm 98% sure that he has won that award with the Devils one time.
At least he had to have.
So now we know that pick is going to be number 28, right? So your prediction.
Oh yeah, we got to start looking.
Your prediction of what the Devils are going to do with that pick. Do they A, trade that pick?
Okay.
B, keep that pick and pick where it is at number 28? Or C, try to move back or up with that pick? So not getting rid of it, still keeping it, but moving it back, or trying to use it to leverage moving back in a draft or moving up in a draft. So A, trading it away, B, keeping it, or C, moving from it.
A, B, what was C again?
C is basically them trading up from that pick, like trying to use that pick and maybe package it with something else to move up to get a higher draft pick.
Trade 4 and what do we have? 29, 4 and 29 for 1?
28.
4 and 28.
You would trade 4 and 28.
I don't know, dude. I'm just blabbing over here. Trying to think. I would say that I think, knowing what we know so far about our boy Mr. Fitzgerald, I would say unless he is blown away by someone who is under the age of 28, maybe, like an established player under the age of 28 that may already be locked up long term. That could be like a building block. Unless he's blown away with something along those lines, for maybe a package plan, put one of those picks in there with a package deal. I think he'll use the pick for the team and it will go the whatever flip-flop it is. Whatever they take at 4, if they take an offensive forward or centerman at 4, they're taking someone on defense at the later pick. It'll go either way. Flip-flop it back the other side, because there are a lot of defensive, picks up there at the, ranked a little bit higher this year. So, although there are some good forwards now, as we've been kind of like doing a little bit more research into the draft, it's interesting. And it's fun that it's happening so quickly for us Devils fans,
Yeah, let's get it going.
But I feel like unless Fitzy is blown away by something along those lines, it's got to be like, okay, we can't pass this up type of deal. Younger player. He's not going to take an older player. It's got to be someone younger. Unless that happens, I don't know, because it is an expansion year and everything like that. So who knows what might go on. We've seen some wild trades before. In an expansion year. But unless that happens, I would say that he uses both picks for the team, and it's one or the other. It'll be offense, defense.
I think you're right on the money with that, because if you look at last year when they had 3 first-round picks, there was that conversation, right? Will he package one? Will he try to move one? Will he try to do this? Will he try to do that? Nope, he stood where they were, and he made all 3 picks. So,
yep.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad choice. I don't think it's a bad thing to do. Is to bolster up the old farm system with some new blood in it. But honestly, like I was reading something the other day.
Okay,
and I wish I could recollect where I was reading it. I'm going to just say Twitter. We'll just put a ballpark on that and just say Twitter.
The land of rational thought, huh? Okay.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And I think I was reading it at 1 a.m, which means that was definitely rational thought time. So I was thinking about this. If Luke Hughes falls to the Devils at number 4, and they make that choice, there is a rumor. Now, keep in mind, this is a rumor that the contract extension for RFA, restricted free agent Quinn Hughes, has not been going well, and there's a possibility that he might be on the out and out. Who knows? Who knows if that's true?
Okay.
If the Devils find a way to draft Luke at 4. I mean, you would have to probably package the 28 and next year's 1. I might be overvaluing. I don't know. Somebody that has more smarts into this kind of stuff would have to kind of fill me in on what this would actually cost the Devils to get Quinn, and then have all 3 brothers, kind of like a Suter 1980s Islanders feeling, you know what I mean? Like have all 3 brothers on the team. What would it take to get Quinn Hughes from the Canucks? What do you think they're at? Because their asking price is probably going to be crazy high. And somebody was saying, and like I said, when I was reading all this and I was kind of sitting there and I was like, man, that's a hell of a thought to think about. And somebody was saying, keep in mind, not me, so I don't want to hear like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. Clearly, I don't. But somebody was saying you give them that late round first, Damon Severson, and like a...
Was this written by Sam Wu? It must have been written by Sam Wu. I knew it. There it is.
Damon Severson.
We figured it all out.
Damon Severson, Tice Thompson, and then another mid-round pick in next year's draft for Quinn Hughes. And I sat there and I said to myself, that's not a terrible haul. That's not a terrible option. I mean, obviously, if on our behalf, we'd be like, yeah, it's amazing. We get Quinn Hughes. It's incredible. But I'm curious to see, and anybody out there on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or Twitch or wherever the hell we are, if you want to come up with an idea, what do you think it would take to get Quinn Hughes from the Canucks to the Devils? It's also assuming that we use that number 4 to get Luke, and we have the whole Hughes family. And I got another one for you. But
what about your buddies there, the Clark brothers? You're gonna separate the old Clark brothers, huh?
I'm not saying that.
What you're trying to do?
I'm not saying that.
I thought that was Man Crush 2.0 for you.
No, I didn't get there yet. Didn't get there yet.
Oh, you didn't get there yet? Oh, okay.
Graham Clark, that was quickly developing throughout the season, watching that kid's unbelievable ability to snipe. But the other one that I've read about, and
what's
not
his
too long
name
ago,
again?
Brent
Clark
is the brother.
Brent Clark. That sounds like
Brent Clark.
Yeah,
that sounds like Superman.
Yeah, Brent Clark. Oh yeah, I feel it.
That sounds like
I feel it.
Clark Kent's like defunct cousin. Like, hey, it's Clark Kent. No, it's just Brent Clark. Damn it! Somebody get him out of here.
It's like the bad twin, the scumbag guy. You know, all the girls are like,
Superman.
It's Brent.
It's Brent. Damn it, Brent. Somebody get him out of here. The other one is the Tkachuk. Is it Matthew Tkachuk that's out in Calgary? Or is that Brady?
That's
Matthew.
I think Matt is in Calgary. Brady? I don't remember. I think Matt is in Calgary. I could be wrong.
So it's a Tkachuk. Anyways, there's rumors that he wants to get out of Calgary. And guess who I think it's his cousin or not his uncle, it's his cousin, I'm pretty sure. Guess who's, if you could take a wild guess, who's his cousin that would help in our favor?
Tom Fitzgerald.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding. You got it right off the bat. So Tom Fitzgerald and the Tkachuks are related somehow. And I was reading somewhere where, possibly that might be, in our favor if he was trying to actually get out of Calgary. But this is what happens in the offseason, especially for a team that's out of the playoffs and continuously out of the playoffs for quite some time, is you get these like wild harebrained accusations. Usually, I have one in the morning on social media, but there's all these rumors that float around. So here's my question to you, Scotty.
Okay.
Would you rather Quinn Hughes or would you rather a Tkachuk? Because both of them could help this team. Both of them could help this team mightily, in my opinion.
If I had to choose right now, probably old Quinn, I would say.
It's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong at either or.
I think I would go with Quinn Hughes right now because our defense is what needs the most help. Yeah, I mean, the trade idea, if you include someone like a Damon Severson, they might be interested in it, a Severson and a draft pick. They might be interested in that.
You're replacing a defenseman with a
defenseman.
That's a good way to say it. You're replacing it with a defenseman, but you're not replacing it with like a top. Like his upside is really, his ceiling is really up there. Whereas Severson, I feel like, I swear to God, I love Severson. I want him to stay with the Devils, but I feel like his potential somewhere else would be so much higher than it is here. If that makes sense. If he had to change the scenery, I feel like, I don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like he would be.
He wouldn't be playing as much. That's what it is.
He'd be like
Sam will tell you all about it. Sam will tell you all about it.
Where is Sam? Sam, jump on. Tell us all about it.
We're not protecting him.
Wow. Go ahead, Sam.
Look, I just made one statement about 2 months ago, throwing ideas out, and suddenly it becomes a fact. No. I'd rather keep the Devils forwards, protect them, Bastion, all of them, and give and you're going to have to give up somebody. Why not give up the butt puck?
Well, it's going to be. When do we find that out? Do you guys know when we find that out? When they actually release the list?
I don't know.
I got no idea.
Well, let's do a little R&D.
It's somewhere. Yeah, it's somewhere after the final, I believe.
I mean, it's going to be a crazy July if you think about it. You got the Stanley Cup Finals. You've got
I feel like it's
draft, and then you've got the real draft. So it's a very unusual time right now because it's summer.
So the expansion draft, the expansion draft is July 21st, which is that's not that far away.
I was thinking 23rd, so I was close. All right.
So the expansion draft is, I think the regular draft is the 23rd. Because
is that what
the
it is?
Expansion draft, yes, it is. Yeah, so the expansion draft is the 21st. And then the actual draft is July 23rd.
Popping into my head for some reason.
And then when does free agency start? When is NHL? Because it's got to be right around that corner. Come on, phone. July 28th. So
July
damn,
28th.
Think about that. In a week's time, you have
expansion draft, real draft, free agent,
real draft, free agency in a week. So by the end of July, this team could look a hell of a lot different. We'll put it that way. At the end of July, this team could look drastically different. And okay, so here's another funny thing too. How many of you out there have a ticket rep for the New Jersey Devils, right? If you're a season ticket holder, you have a ticket rep. Okay?
Oh, boy. All right.
One of my very, very close friends has season tickets, and he says to me, my ticket rep says that the Devils are going to be doing some pretty big things this year. And I'm like, yeah, all ticket reps said that. And he goes, no. Like, he actually... Uh-oh, I froze. My camera went out.
I can still hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Well, let me try to reconnect my camera. But
I love this picture. I love this picture right now. It's like
I look very sensitive. Yeah,
you do.
Let's talk about feelings.
Can we get like a different? Let's get a different background there for him. You know, like put a little, one of those like Sears catalog.
There we go.
There he is.
That was weird.
So close. But, so close.
But anyway, he goes, yeah, no, my ticket rep is he's very confident that there's going to be some big moves. And I sat there and I'm like, okay. What ticket rep has like the inside information? Like, what ticket rep is sitting there going like, yeah, man, let me tell you what. Me and Fitzy, we had a couple of beers the other night. He got a little loose with the lips. Let me tell you what. Oh, boy. He's talking big moves, man. Big moves.
I'll tell you what. I'd rather get my information from the Prudential Center janitor or cleaning lady because they'll be like, I went into Fitzy's office and on the dry erase board, I saw Quinn Hughes' name on there. Trade.
Yeah. Exactly. I just always find that to be so funny. It's like, dude, you have to take that with such a gigantic grain of salt. Like, I don't think a ticket rep is going to have the no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I talked to the skate sharpener at at the pavilion, and
I mean it's a pretty easy statement though. I mean we know we need to make moves before the season starts just to like finish, feel the team, so there's no way that we're not actually going to be making moves, so it's a pretty easy sell. Just
I'll tell you what, Beer Baron, I'm going to tell you this.
Who's at work on, Who's the person telling you this?
Beer Baron, I'm gonna tell you this, and I since I don't want to like break your spirits and heart. They say that to me every year. They say that.
Oh, Sam, I know. I'm very well aware.
Yeah.
Listen, I also don't believe when the IRS calls and they're like, "We need all of your information," or that I need a car warranty because my car warranty is up. You know, like I'm not an idiot. I get it. Like I understand. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna pay my.
They're gonna make moves. They just have no idea, like, what moves the Devils are going to make. They just know. I mean, there will be signings before the season starts. Now, of course, there are every year.
If that rep that calls you and says that, hey, I'm your new rep, but you got to pay your season tickets with Google Play cards. You can get them at Walmart, $100.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. We take iTunes cards, which I never understood. If you're trying to scam me out of money, why iTunes? Never mind. That's a whole other podcast for another day. But
back in the day, I'll tell you the scam. Back in the day, you could take those iTunes cards and buy something at the Apple store, and then you could take that iPhone and then resell it onto the black market. That's why.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that little star with the rainbow behind it should go across the screen right now. The more you know.
Bear Baron, also tell whomever gave you that inside for information, thank you. And anytime they hear anything, they should let you know.
Yes, exactly. I said, hey, listen, man, if you got this inside source, please keep me abreast on the. Yeah, keep it coming. Keep that information. We want to be the first to know, you know? I told them, I was like, we are on a famous podcast. You could be breaking news.
You could be the source.
You could be the source. You could be the unnamed source. I could be like the next Woj bomb. Or we'll call it beer bong, It's oh my God. Crack open a new fresh one. We got inside info. Per my source. I could be like the Adam Schefter of the podcasting world.
I would
I got inside info.
I would love to be a hacker and just like hack a GM's phone and just read all the text messages and all that, listen in the phone conversations, trades and all that. I think it'd be pretty interesting what goes down.
Those are always the stories that I love to hear, is those back, the behind the door stories. Like whenever we talk to a player or, anybody, I love to hear those stories of like the things that happen that nobody sees. You know what I mean? Like the conversation between Chiarelli and Shiro, that was, we'll give you Taylor Hall for Adam Larson. Imagine being not in the office like during that conversation when Shiro hung up the phone and just looked around the room and was like, "You believed it, guy? I can't believe it, guy." Like something like that. But those are always the conversations like I find to be the most intriguing, because those small moves, you can have a small move that completely shifts or alters the way your team is, going forward. It could change the his. Look at that, Nick Suzuki. He was drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights 4 years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And is now on the Canadians and is responsible for helping eliminate the Golden Knights from the playoffs. Things like that, how things happen behind the scenes. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Irony.
Yeah, right?
Is that story true that Lou Lamoriello in 2003 had a trade done for Rob Niedermeyer and just didn't get the facts in on time at the NHL office?
I've heard that story, but I've probably heard it through you, so.
Yeah. That sounds like a Sam Wu tale.
Yeah.
Tales from the Wu.
That's happened. That's happened a few times. Like that was the big thing of why Scott Niedermeyer left the Devils, is because he wanted to go play with Rob. And that was why Rob.
We tried, bro. We tried. We sent it in. It was like an hour late, and they wouldn't let us. They let us last year. I don't get it. Like,
I don't know what happened. We had a jam. I clear the paper out.
The new guy over there.
He was here.
Look, man. We even made his jersey. Would not believe him. Yeah. Well, look at that. We were going to sell it at the store. You should talk to that guy over there at the NHL. Like, he's
a real jerk. Tripping. He might not answer the phone now because he gets real mad sometimes, and he won't answer his phone because he gets mad. It's an 888 number, so don't call it more than once because it'll cost you. That cost you. Even when you're waiting, when it's ringing, it costs money. So don't call him. We just trust us.
Put it in too late. I can't see Lou ever like being late on something like that. I don't know.
He did. He did with Rafalski and Madden. Those contracts, they were restricted free agents, but he didn't get the paperwork in time, and then either he forgot about it or whatever, and then he had to like quickly offer them a big contract. It was about 2001 or 2002. Do you remember that? He forgot to submit the paperwork to the qualifying offer or something like that. And then he had to like quickly offer them a 3-year deal. You don't remember
anything
that? I'll get that article for you.
You can get it, but anything like that is Lou like having a strategic plan for doing it. But there's some other reason for him doing that. Like there's just
like sitting by an elevator and watching people leave their desk after he fired them.
Yeah, there's
which is the bossest move of all time. But go.
Yeah, because they were arch nemesis. The president says arch nemesis in that lawsuit against Lou and the Devils.
So funny.
He called them the arch nemesis.
The arch nemesis.
But seriously,
Lou is too strategic. I don't know. He's just there's something else going on. He's too smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's too smart. He's just too smart. I can just see him being like, Johnny Madden, you've been good. Let me get you some money. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna forget to put your contract in, okay? And then I'm gonna offer you something a little bit more. All right? That's how we're gonna play it. Right? This is what we're doing. I don't know. He's Lou.
I like that you make him, even though he's got that real thick Beantown accent. I like that you you paint him to have this like wise guy, like Sopranos. You and me, we're gonna make a deal. Don't you worry about this. We'll make it happen. Oh my God! Oh, I forgot the paperwork. How could I dumbski? I don't know how that happened. Guess what?
Worked out for you. Swear this will never happen again, Mr.
You're gonna go into your driveway. You're gonna see a brand new Cadillac. You get in that thing. You put the keys on. You drive home. Congratulations. But see, he found it. A Lulu of a mistake.
I'm sure. See? Yeah, I'm sure it's out there like that.
Sure, yeah. But I don't disagree with you. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So, why don't we get down to, because we're getting to the end here.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about our predictions for the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sam Wu for the Sam Wu prediction of the 2021 Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, you know what, you got some issues here because it's very hard to repeat as Stanley Cup champions, and that's what
I think they're plenty capable.
But they are 18 million over the cap, legally speaking. The Habs, think about the big trade with Shea Weber and PK Subban years ago.
Yep.
Now Shea Weber being captain of the team and leading them into the Stanley Cup Finals. Will Habs fans be able to be there in full capacity? There is no.
Oh, that's a good question.
There is no home ice advantage here, but you know what? With the Habs right now, how can you bet against them when they've proven you wrong the last 3 rounds? Do they have enough gas to go? They've got an entire country rooting for them right now. I wouldn't say entire, but it's a U.S. versus Canada thing, in a lot of ways. And with the Lightning, they've got so much firepower. I think it's just a matter of, will that size be enough of the Canadiens to kind of neutralize that Tampa
putting
front
some stank
end.
on that one.
But at the end, I think it's going to come to goaltending, and I think it's going to be Carey Price's time to shine. So I'm going to say Habs in 6.
Okay. Oh, Scotty, what do you think? Or do you want me to go, Scotty? I don't care. Whatever you want.
No, that's fine. I'll go. So, man, I'm gonna go with the upset as well, and I'm gonna pick Montreal. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen, but all I will say is Tampa Bay. You had the cup last year. You got friggin' Tom Brady. You already won a championship down there. The Rays are pretty decent. All right, you've had enough. All right, you got a little fun run over here. You got your conference championship. You can raise your banner next year. I think Montreal comes in, sneaks it out, and the combination of wily veterans, Corey Perry, Shea Weber, these guys that have been around, Carey Price, these leaders that have been around, and that young core that they've been working on. Finally coming together, firing Claude Julien. We've seen that happen, not only on the Devils, other teams as well. Boston too, right? I believe, yeah.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So I mean, that's a couple times it's happened to him, and we've seen them take off. So I just think I'm going to go with like the Cinderella team here, and I'm going to pick Montreal with the upset. Tampa Bay, you're fun, but you had the last two. Yeah, the Brady, he's probably going to get you back to playoffs too. Tampa Bay, the Rays. Come on. You can't have everything.
Yeah, enough with the boat parades. So we're going to bring this parade back to the land. That's what they're going to say in Montreal.
So the snow. It'll be on a dog sled. It'll be on a dog sled.
So
yeah, right.
Head and heart. We often say this, head and heart, right? So what are you going to choose, your head or your heart? So my head would say Tampa Bay, just because Tampa Bay is so unbelievably talented. It wouldn't shock me to see them win. I don't think it's going to be an easy series for them. Kucherov's health is going to play a big part in that, because is he 100%? Because he did supposedly have hip and broken ribs. Thanks to the New York Islanders. But if you watch...
Hey, blame tough. Playoffs, baby.
So pointing this out, in one of the earlier segments talking about that series, if you looked at how they beat the Islanders in that Game 7, I believe that they could do the same exact thing to the Montreal Canadiens, because the Canadiens' firepower is very, very similar to the Islanders. I feel like the difference between the Islanders and the Canadiens is the Islanders have a better defensive, just overall defensive core, and Carey Price has been playing out of his absolute mind. So that's my head speaking. I feel like that the Lightning would win in, 5. Heart speaking, I agree with you guys completely. I feel like the Canadiens can pull off a huge upset. I feel like Cole Caulfield has been the darling of the entire, NHL playoffs. Americans are probably attaching themselves to him because he's a part of the U.S. national team. And you're probably going to see this kid develop and flourish and become like a superstar in the league and then play for the United States in the Olympics.
Your other man crush?
My other man crush, Cole Caulfield. So hopefully it's a good series. That's all you can hope for, right? A good back and forth. But it's going to come down to Montreal capitalizing on any little opportunity they get, because they're not going to have a lot of windows to do so. If they can do it, and if you look at what Caulfield has been doing and how he's just been on that breakaway, just puts it up in the top corner, puts it on top, where mommy hides the peanut butter, right on the top shelf, folks. But I mean, he's been out of his mind. This whole team, it's been fun to watch. So it's going to be cool. And what's even cooler is they won a trophy in the history of the Montreal Canadiens. The first time they ever won the Campbell. Oh my God, my brain is. You can tell it's the end here. The first time they ever won that trophy. Anyways,
is it the Campbell or the Whales?
The Campbell, is it the Whales?
Or the Whales?
No, Prince
one is it?
Is it the Whales?
Clarence.
I was screwing up. It's a Clarence Campbell.
Yep,
Clarence
for the West.
We got Clarence.
We got the Clarence.
We got Clarence. Check the vector, Victor. Roger.
Just want to say good luck.
Sorry,
we're all counting on you.
We're all counting.
Yeah, that's it. So, head Tampa Bay in 5. Hart says Canadians in 6.
All right.
Wow.
Which one you go with? Which one? Which one do you go with? You can't say that. You got which one do you go with?
I don't know.
What? Come on, you got to pick
my
one.
Heart. Go with my heart.
All right.
Canadians.
We'll go with the Canadians. Okay. Please, Montreal, stay. Unrioting. Okay, we don't just be careful over there. We know you're gonna party. The Molson's gonna be flowing. Just don't go too crazy.
Get the Labatt's out. Here we go.
Get the Labatt's and the Molsons will be going. I get it. Just be careful over there. Don't smash too many things.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I guess that's it, Sammy.
That's it. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week, maybe. And keep the date open.
Oh, yeah, it's 4th of July.
Is it 4th of July?
Yeah, next Sunday is 4th of July.
All right,
There's a chance I might be blowing stuff up.
Hey, let's take the day off then.
Yeah,
we'll be back
holiday.
after the 4th of July. Till next time, let's go Devils.